Don't go touching the volume. There's nothing wrong with your device, just me having a laugh. Good morning, everybody. My name's Martin Kelly. I am currently the captain at Kirkcaldy Zingari. That was given to me by JB. That's how we elect our officials. You just pass on the baton when you don't know what to do anymore. So Jimmy was in the post a long time. Way before I arrived, him and Blakey, the president, have been running the show for a long time. Very successfully. We're 13 years unbeaten in Europe. Jimmy's managed to rack himself up 100 plus games during that time, and I'm hot on his heels actually. I'm mid to late 90s consecutive games for me, which even Jimmy can't lay claim to. He's missed a couple. But we're not 100% sure about the exact figures because Blakey keeps it in his wee black book, keeps things tight to his chest type of thing. You're not quite sure, depending on his mood, whether you've done 20 games or 120 games. But it's all there. We just need to get his fingers for the book, and we'll get all the information that we need. So Zingari, you'll probably be aware, we are over 35s team, although the majority of us now, as you can see for me, a bit long in the tooth, grey beard. The majority of us now are in our 50s, and it's slowed right down almost to nothing. But we're going to try and rectify that shortly. I think some of the young team seem quite keen to pick up the baton and hopefully run with it. So here's hoping sometime soon you'll see Zingari on the pitches at Kirkcaldy again. 2008, as I say, I joined the Zings. Rugby World Cup was held in Edinburgh. There wasn't supposed to be a winner, it was just groups of teams playing rugby and having a laugh. But we played an extra game over the course of the week that the tournament was held because some team dropped out. So we played an extra game. We won all our games, therefore we had more points than anybody else. And I'm claiming that as a win. 2008 Rugby World Cup, over 35 champions. And one of the other sort of traditions that we do as Zings, we award when we play a game, we'll award the Dick of the Day trophy to somebody who's obviously been a dick. There's no other way to describe it. So I'm here today to tell you a wee bit about some of the stuff. Obviously some of the names have been changed. Any wee anecdotes or stories, I can't actually mention any of the guys. There's 2 rules involved. But you'll get a gist of what we got up to and roughly where we did it. And then obviously I'll run through what I would consider to be my top 15 tourists. Tourist number 1. I remember this guy from the first tour that I went on, which was the Heidelberg tour. It was our second time to Heidelberg in Germany, but my first tour there, obviously I joined in 2008. I think this was 2009. We toured Heidelberg, and I'll get obviously some of the numbers wrong, especially with the front row, because I know I don't look like it, but I'm a black, and whatever it is they get up to and whatever numbers they wear on their jerseys, not too sure about. But anyway, my number 1 is Willie Anderson. Some of the funniest stories I've ever heard, not just from a rugby context, but just in life in general. Centre runabout Willie Anderson. As I say, I said previously that I would change the names to protect the innocent, but Willie's no innocent. He's got a long list of admirers, not just for his rugby playing abilities, but obviously he's a very handsome man. And Willie's made a famous admirer in Heidelberg. The guy did make a full recovery. He still smells a wee bit of pish, but as I say, that's a very long, funny story that I can't quite go into in any great detail. But the people involved in that story know the happy ending, or the ending. I don't want to. I don't want to get well into trouble for doing something he didn't day, but the guy made a full recovery. This Wally Anderson keeps out people like Scott Guyan, Hendo, French guy Xavi Passamar, top quality, really good props. But Wally makes the team purely because of his ability to drink Mateus Rosé. Now, he's got a couple of other favourite drinks. In fact, he'll drink just about anything, but I don't know anybody else who can drink Mateus quite like Wally. Number 2 for me, my all-time Zingari top 15 tourists. Number 2 is easy. I know where number 2 goes. He's the wee fat one that goes in between the two big fat ones, and that goes to Scott Dryborough. Yeah, absolute out and out best 70s moustache in Scotland, if no in Europe. It's kept over from his playing days. There's I think there's actually film available of Scott during his playing days. It's in black and white, and the tash is obviously mostly white now rather than black as it used to be. Scott, you'll find Scott usually 3-4 o'clock in the morning on tour. You'll find Scott in a karaoke bar. He's a tremendous singer, old school player. He plays 60, 70 minutes each game off his feet. He's always rolling about. At the bottom of a pile up, does what he does. Really, really special, outstanding recognition goes to Scott Dryborough because he rooms with funnels. He's got webbed feet, not because he comes from Kennaway, but because he rooms with funnels. I'd like to say that he's a huge sort of community spirited man out with his rugby playing. He does this thing in Leven. I think it's community service. I think it's called. I'm not sure, but he's big into that. And again, keeping out some phenomenal players. Bubba Hayes. I know Bubba's not a 2, but he looks like one. Jamie Bruni. Some really, really good players that Scott Dryborough keeps out the team. And as I say, that's all comes down to his ability at drinking. He's a lager drinker predominantly. Occasionally he'll have a gin, but Kahula and pints of Drambuie are his favourite tipples. So my number 2 hooker, Scott Dryborough. Tourist number 3, Rab McCormick. I first came across Rab up in St Andrews. We were playing the Ricky Lees tournament up there. Jimmy wasn't available that day. I was captain. This was a long time ago, obviously. So I read out the team sheet. I gave everybody their positions, talked to me about tactics, and then it was told to shut up. I thought it was a rousing speech. Rab told me to shut up, get out in the wing, and just, if I get the ball, do somewhere, know that I was getting the ball. So Rab took over, and long story short, we won. So it was either my rousing team talk, or it was just Rab doing what Rab does. The other thing of note during that game, or after that game, was I warmly congratulated all the Madras players on their win, and the ref was looking at me as if I was stupid. We had actually won. We'd won with 3 points, and obviously I was busy concentrating on my wing work. Everybody else was adding up but me. So we won that day. We won the Ricky Lees most times we took part in it. So Big Rab, had a great mini tour with him quite recently. Me, him and Muff went to Perpignan and had a great weekend there at Clementi's house. Big Rab played really good quality rugby when he was younger. Played at a really high level. Keeps out some massive Kirkcaldy Zingari tourists. Keeps out Big Dodd. Keeps out Gav, Pie, Moomin. You know, there's some phenomenal props that Rab McCormack keeps out. Lager drinker. What a lager drinker the boy is. Usually followed by a lager chaser, and occasionally a wee sweet sherry, which I think I probably have had one or two myself because I'm slurring my words. But aye, tourist number 3, Rab McCormack. Tourist number 4, Finnells, Ian Finlayson. I call him the groundsman. Again, like Scott Dryborough, on the ground, 60, 70 minutes. He's always on the ground, always on his hands and knees, doing something. Usually terribly badly, or really well. He'll arrive late at a breakdown, get in, get underneath everybody, and come out with the ball. Superb at that. You know, I used to wonder what he did on the pitch, but then actually, when you pay close attention to what he does on the pitch, it's not that much, but he does it really well. And he's usually got his mitts run about the ball at the bottom of a pile up. That's what makes him invaluable. He's a brown beer drinker. He sometimes has a wee Sturi Maduri. He's got a secret stash of Sturi Maduri, whatever short, any for our charity functions, you know, for raffles. Ian's your man. Bottle of Sturi Maduri will appear, and it doesn't seem to deplete his stash. He wears lots of nice tour outfits. He goes to the biggest effort of anybody that I know when he goes on tour. Usually matching hats, sometimes no matching hats, but it's nice to see somebody making a bit of an effort rather than just, you know, shorts and t-shirts and rugby tops. Ian Finlayson is invaluable, and again, it keeps Scott Dryborough on his toes, albeit wet toes. So my number 4 tourist is Ian Finlayson. Probably should have said this right at the start. I forgot a wee bit. Lots of big names are getting left out. You know, there's some really big names getting left out. Last week's Kirkcaldy top 15, Andy Henderson. You know, the legend of, you know, Kirkcaldy Rugby Club. Great player, and he mentioned about great servants and people who give back to the club, stuff like that. So players of his calibre, I've left out. I've not really played with these guys. I've played with Andy once or twice, but he doesn't tour so much probably because his work commitments. But there's over and above Andy, there's lots of other players that don't make this 15. Some of them aren't good enough. Some of them haven't toured very much. Is probably the bigger reason. So this is the 15 boys that I have super enjoyed touring with over the years. Rugby playing wise, they're fabulous, but there's something else over and above that makes them great tourists. And when we all get it on and we get it together, some of the best times in my life, and I've had, you know, long and reasonably interesting one, but the best times in my life have been on tour with the Zings, kind of a bar none. So with that in mind, my number 5 is Stuart Oliver. Big Ollie, great vision, probably because he's 6'6". Great kitty man, useful kitty man. Him and his +1 range. Never any problems with the kitty. Unlike one of the next boys coming up gets a wee mention in the sort of kitty terms. But back to Ollie, disruptive and destructive player. on the pitch, or he gets in folks' faces. He didn't want to get caught between Ollie and somebody he's trying to bluter. He just gets tore in, doesn't matter what position he's playing in. He's normally back row. I've got him in here at number 5 because I would consider a couple of better rugby players than Ollie coming in at back row. You'll see in a wee minute. So keeps out some of the really good players again. You know, Willie Gray, younger boy coming through. Everybody knows who Willie is, but in terms of Zings, he's one of the youngsters. You know, Davy Henderson. Lots of players can play in this position, but Ollie's in there. Likes a wee pint of lager. Likes a wee bottle of wine. Doesn't bother with glasses very much. As I say, there's some cracking photographs kicking about. I've picked some photographs out. My touring superstar, number 5, match winner extraordinaire, Big Ollie. Tourist number 6, Kevin Murphy. Again, he's a forward. I can't remember where he plays, 6 or 7. Doesn't really matter. You get the same job out him regardless of where he's playing. Kind of only goes in one direction. Something to do with his fused vertebrae or something like that. You know, he'll bore you to tears with that story half a dozen times if you get him in the right mood. Don't see him that much new, obviously. He's away abroad, although might be coming back shortly. Only guy who worked for a kind of an airline, who's on the airline's no-fly list. Throws a great dummy, usually at the pram. You know, he's Jimmy's tour wife. He was Jimmy's assistant for years, Murph, till some glamorous fella for just outside Ouija Land kind of took the position when Murph went away to work abroad. So as I say, we see him every now and again. What else can you say about Murph? The tash. It's not a patch on Scott Drybreath. He's lost it a few times. He's better without the moustache than he is with it, although he gets a wee bit self-conscious. Again, keeps out players like the aforementioned, you know, Andy Henderson, Richard Dice, lots of guys who can play 6, lots of phenomenal players. Murph's in there purely for his entertainment value. Likes a wee lager, likes a wee gin, likes a wee baby sham. Number 6, top tourist, Kevin Murphy. Tourist number 7, Donald Simpson. Don usually does everything a number 7 does, and he'll sometimes do everything that number 6 should do, especially the number 6 Murph. So great engine, fit boy, gets about the pitch, does everything with kind of with an economy of scale. You know, no flash. Just does the hard yards, puts in the tackles, makes the hits, gets you the ball. And I mentioned earlier about the Big Ollie and his +1 brains being great kitty men. This is the fella here. Heidelberg first tour. Donald had the kitty, disappeared. Comes back 20 minutes later. Shiny brand new Jack Wolfskin jacket on, and it was a bra jacket. Everybody admired it. And where's the kitty? As far as I was concerned, he'd spent the kitty on this Jack. I didn't realise he'd give the kitty to somebody else. But we grilled him for about 20 minutes. You know, we patted him down, turned him upside down, no kitty, and kept stewing about that. Somebody else had the kitty, and obviously we were still drinking the kitty. But I just thought Donald had decided, half pished, got up, went away for a donder, spent the kitty on the Jack Wolfskin jacket, and came back. So that's my funny story about Donald. Great guy. Keeps out other players. Keeps out Gordon Hanna. You know, again, guys, brilliant rugby players. Don't tour so much. And so Donald Simpson likes a wee vodka. So does Donald. Usually an expensive one. Gold flakes in it. Anything with gold flakes in it. Donald will drink it. vodka or no. Expensive tastes. So my top tourist, number 7, Donald Simpson. Tourist number 8, Harry McLeod. Harry's made from some other material for most folk, glass probably. Harry's got his own parking space up at the Vic. You know, he's got first name terms with most of the A&E departments in most of Scotland's hospitals. If there's a hospital Harry's no been in, on a Saturday afternoon, I'm awfully surprised. Wee bit of a pikey, Harry. He's kind of the Harold Steptoe Carden Den, and he would give you anything. He's just no got very much, except the ball. He'll not give you the ball. Again, Harry's a great number 8. Keeps out check the pace. Boom. That's how good a player Harry is. Only really downside to Harry, apart from all the injuries and the amount of time spent in hospitals and having to kind of put them back together, is Harry drinks pina coladas. My tourist number 8, best number 8 I've ever seen is Harry McLeod. Tourist number 9, one of the Frenchies. So we first made pals with this lot when we toured. We played against AJC, which was a team from Perpignan. My first game, actually, I know it's not about me, but my first game I played at 9 that game, and he's never lived it down because Jean-Marc is a really, really good 9. I had him on toast that game, so you can take for that what you will, but I knew I've done him a disservice by saying that me at 9 had him on toast, but he is a genuinely great 9. Keeps out some really, really good 9s. Zing's only short of a 9 or 2, but Jean-Marc, again, great tourist, puts a lot of effort into what he does when he tours. He's a handsome, he's French, he's handsome. He's got a sticky out belly button that if you're not feeling a bit bokeh after the amount of alcohol that we can drink, he'll give you the bulk. My number 9 is wee shagger himself, Jean-Marc Tribiac. Tourist number 10 is Big Shagger, El Swivel Hips himself, Jimmy James Ritchie. He's a great kisser. He's got some smashing tats. Bit of James Bond is Jimmy James. He says he works at GCHQ or NASA or something like that, but I've done a wee bit of research into this. I found out he's the Johnny at the European Parliament. But he's been made redundant obviously because of Brexit, so look out for Jimmy James looking for a Johnny job somewhere near you. Number 10, pivotal role obviously. I'm wearing my suave sort of French top because Jimmy James, he's got that certain je ne sais quoi. Keeps out, think of the 10s that the Zings have, keeps them out. Keith Ferguson, Derek Finney, Henry Murray, probably me. Blakey likes to play me at 10 every now and again. Jimmy hates it, but Blakey thinks I'm a smashing 10. Enough about me. Jimmy James Ritchie at 10, likes a wee gin, usually pink, usually with a strawberry or a wee flower in it. Smashing boy, great tourist. Jimmy James Ritchie is my tourist number 10. Right, tourist number 11. Out in the wing, I've got him. He's normally super sub. Normally the impact player, he's the guy we bring on normally when we're trying, maybe it's touch and go, or we're trying to kind of come back into a game. We'll bring him on because of the impact that this guy can have when he comes on. Phenomenal player to introduce late on in the game. He's a bit aged, so I don't know if he'll last the full 80 minutes. But I've started him anyway because he's touring ability again. Great pals with Jean-Marc, Daniel Clemente. So I've mentioned a couple of shaggers, Jean-Marc and Jimmy James, but this guy is, Perpignan, south of France, is #1 shagger. He's a proper tourist. He likes to travel. He likes whiskey. He likes his wine. Likes the birds. He's your Frank McAvenny type of thing. Only downside to Clemente is he wears the red shorts. And over 35, he's not supposed to tackle anybody with red shorts. So he's a wee bit, protective of himself. They're no real red shorts. You can tackle him, but he wears them. They're his Perpignan red shorts. He wears them everywhere he goes. So he's in my starting lineup predominantly because he's got a swimming pool. So I've got to keep in his good side. The most memorable day we've had, again at the Ricky Lee's, he got Dick of the Day up at Ricky Lee's, and we were pished, and he fell behind maybe 2 streets. We were out after the Ricky Lee's tournament in St Andrews for a good night out. He fell behind us, he kept dropping back, he was really drunk, but we knew where he was at all times because he had the trophy and he clattered it. He banged it off every wall, every dustbin got it, every pole got it. Photographs coming up of the damage done to the Dick of the Day trophy, the Morgan Grenfell multi-purpose cup it's called. Just I'll never ever forget that. How that's been about that trophy. It's been in all over Europe. It's treated with reverence. He clattered it about that day, got it into a funny old flat shape. It cost us a fortune to get it beaten back out. It cost him a fortune that night. Took his credit card off him. We just started ordering drinks on it as sort of punishment. He's in at number 11. He's probably the only one skinny enough in the team to actually look like a number 11. And again, he keeps out phenomenal players. Me. That's where I normally start. That's my position. Giving it to him. Ian Young, lots of really good, hard, direct runners could play in that position. But Daniel Clemente keeps everybody out. Likes whiskey. Likes a wee cheap wine. Number 11 tourist, Clemente. As you can probably work out with all the costume changes, I haven't done this in one go. I've spread it out. I couldn't talk for that length of time if my life depended on it. So I've broke it up into wee segments, and so I thought it would do the wee Diana Ross routine and change into a different outfit for every player. So the Scotland taps for my tourist number 12, JB, Jimmy Bonner. Up till very recently captain for the whole length of time that I've been involved, and as I say, I've done about 94, 95, maybe 96 consecutive games for the Zings, but Paul's into insignificance against Jimmy's 104. He made it to 104 when he hung up his boots, big smelly boots that they are. So hats off to you, Mr. Bonner. Hat quickly back on. That's my lockdown haircut, obviously my lockdown beard. What can you say about Jimmy that you haven't heard already, or he hasn't told you already? What a boy. Took you out of captaincy, I think 1962 or something like that. Just absolute legend. He was Mr. Zingari, I suppose. Reminds you of the great Olympians, like Sir Chris Hoy and what's his name, Redmond the rower. Just been there, done that, got the t-shirt. Great tourist. Him and Murph, when they get together, they'll come up with some extra special nonsense for you to get up to. Aye. I first met him, as I say, 2008. I came to Kirkcaldy. I knew they had a team in for the Rugby World Cup in Edinburgh, the over 35 Rugby World Cup. So I came, introduced myself, and we've been pals ever since. It looks like a prop now, but it was a pretty tasty. Well, I've heard he was a winger in his day, but pretty tasty centre when I first started playing with him. He still had a bit of gas. Doesn't lift his knees very high, but his wee legs can run pretty fast. A bit of a bowling ball, or a wrecking ball, I used to call him, up through the middle. If he couldn't find a gap, he used to be able to run round about people. So can't do that now, but what a boy. I don't think he's keeping anybody out of the team. He's in his own merits. There's a couple of players you could play in there, but Jimmy's obviously number one. He used to be the first name down on the team sheet, but that's because he was picking the team himself. So Jimmy Bonner, superstar, number 12, top tourist. Oh, and did I tell you, he's actually had a drink named after him. Ask for a Jimmy Gin at the bar in Kirkcaldy and see what you get. It's pretty tasty. I've moved on. I've got better taste now. I've changed for the ginger ale, which is too sweet for me, and I'm on the gin and tonics, and I'm a bit more refined. But get a wee gin soon, Jimmy. I'm sure, either at your bar or mine. Number 12, Jimmy Bonner. Tourist number 13, Alec Rasheid. When we first went to Perpignan, I know I keep going on about Perpignan, it was one of the better tours. Lots of great tours. Perpignan was, a wee bit above the rest of them as far as I'm concerned. The Frenchies thought he was French. They actually really took to him. They couldn't believe, they thought he was a Frenchman, and that was all due to his very fluent Alouette. Great rugby player, great foil for JB. Two of them as a pair in the centres. When they were on it, they were on it. If Jimmy couldn't get through a runabout, Eck got through a runabout. Again, no, wasn't he a great one? Wasn't he too fussed for lifting his knees very high? Twinkle toes, he scooted about. His wee legs went twice as fast as what they probably should have needed to. But a great centre, great wingman for Big Ollie as well. The two of them would get their heads together and come up with some nonsense, and it usually involved everybody having to run somewhere because they'd done something stupid. But Kitty Garders extraordinaire, phenomenal, as I say, try scorer for the Zings. He could score a try just by scowling at the opposition. Bit of an eating machine. Get to the breakfast buffet before Eck, because he would hoover it up. There'd be nothing left for you if you go there. Keeps out some really good centres. The superb John Thompson, Stephen McManus, Ian Young again. Lots and lots of good players can play in that position. But Eck, phenomenal. I know that I use that word quite a bit. Phenomenal tourist. Eck Rasheid is my number 13. Tourist number 14, Davy Fraser. Looks really out of place out there, but didn't let, a big lumpy boy. He certainly is now, but didn't let his shape belie his out and out pace. Pace to burn. Just makes the team. Absolutely great tourist, first and foremost. Great tourist. That's why he makes the team. But his pace, his positioning, his strength, his power, his pace natural reading of the game, his pace, his fitness levels, his pace, his impersonation of Scott Drybra, his pace and his pace. He gets in the team because of his pace. He gets in his team because he's a good tourist. Keeps out some other pacey wingers, Russell Adam, that type of thing. When guys have got pace like Russell, you're really got to be pacey to keep these boys out the team. Likes a wee sweet sherry, does Davy Fraser, and occasionally he'll mix it with a wee Angostura bitter. Great tourist. Man number 14, top tourist, Davy Fraser. Top tourist, number 15, Dickie, Alan Dick, the hamster. Rip Van Winkle, he's my roommate, great player. He's got to use his brain now to try and get his body in the position that it used to do automatically. Check notes. Yep. So when Tracy and work commitments allow, and there's no cruise ship deals to be had, Dickie will come on tour. Gets to play in this. He usually plays in the centre. He can play in the wing at 15 as well. But I reckon his all-time best sort of position is on his back, asleep. Come to think of it, on his front or his side, sitting down, standing up, leaning somewhere, just asleep. Doesn't go on tour to have a swallow like the rest of us. He goes on tour to get a bit of shut-eye. Likes a gin, famously, a wee dash, a Factor 50. So that's my all-time top tourist 15. Hope you've enjoyed it. I've thoroughly enjoyed doing it. Brings back some, as I say, some classic and not so classic memories. I hope I haven't bored you. Hoping to get back playing rugby soon. Not me personally, but getting back to watch it and getting involved again. Some of the guys, Facebook youngsters are mentioning third 15 stuff again. That would be fantastic. How good would that be? Just a right good social mixed side. There's some zings. Would definitely be up for that. And there's lots of guys. David Frews, semis. Guys who used to play and maybe can't train as much as they would like, but want to play rugby on a Saturday. So absolutely, no reason why that can't happen. That would have a good knock-on effect on the other teams in the club. So watch this space and see if we can get something like that on the go when we get back on the go. Goes without saying, stay safe and see you at the rugby club soon.